What moment made you realize you were truly on your own in this world? I grew up in a small village where tradition dictated every aspect of life. My parents, Edward and Julie, were respected community members who expected their only daughter to follow the same path as every woman before me. Finish high school, marry a local boy, have children, and never leave. When my college acceptance letter arrived during my final year of high school, I kept it hidden for weeks. The university was in the city, 4 hours away by bus. I had applied in secret, using the library computer and having the correspondence sent to Nora, my only supportive friend. At dinner one evening, I finally told my parents. I got accepted to the university. My father's face hardened. Absolutely not. Girls from here don't leave for city education. For 3 weeks, we argued daily. They brought in relatives, community elders, and even our local teacher to convince me university was a waste. The night before deposit deadline, my mother found me packing and warned me not to expect their support if I left. I took the early bus the next morning with my savings from 2 years of weekend work, $2,940, and a duffel bag of clothes. The dorm room I had been assigned wouldn't be available for another month due to renovations, so I spent my first week in the city sleeping on a bench in the university library, washing in public restrooms, and eating the cheapest food I could find. By orientation week, I had secured a job at a 24-hour convenience store that let me work the 11 p.m. 7 a.m. shift. The manager hired me after I explained my situation. The overnight shift paid slightly more, and I could study during quiet hours. I found a tiny room to rent within walking distance of both work and campus. My first semester, I slept an average of 4 hours per day. After finishing my shift at 7 a.m., I would walk to campus for 8 a.m. classes. Between classes, I napped in empty lecture halls or the library. Weekends, I worked double shifts. When midterm results came back, I had earned top marks in every class. I called home during the fall break. My father answered, listened silently to my grades, then informed me that my cousin Brett was asking about marriage. He wanted me to come home at Christmas to discuss it. Brett was 26, I was 18. He had inherited his father's farm and needed a wife. I had met him exactly twice at family gatherings. I refused to come home for an arranged marriage. My father's response was cold and final. Then don't come home at all. December came. I worked through the holidays while the campus emptied. The convenience store was quiet except for occasional late-night customers. I spent Christmas Eve stocking shelves and reading for next semester's classes. The owner brought me leftover turkey from his family dinner. That night I realized I was completely alone. My bank account showed $256 after January's rent. I took a second job cleaning offices in the evenings, which left only 2 to 3 hours for sleep. During spring break, my mother called to tell me Brett was still waiting and my father had arranged everything. When I insisted on finishing my degree instead of marrying Brett, she told me I was no longer their daughter. They blocked my number. My aunt called once to tell me I had been disowned, that my name wasn't spoken at home anymore. I cried for one night, then focused on survival. By my second year, I had moved to a slightly better apartment with 2 roommates. My grades remained perfect despite working 60 hours weekly. I received a small academic scholarship that eased the financial pressure slightly. I still worked the convenience store overnight but had quit the cleaning job for a weekend tutoring position that paid better. I graduated with highest honors. No one sat in the family section when I received my diploma. Nora drove 4 hours to attend, the only person from home to witness my achievement. She brought news that Brett had married someone else 6 months earlier. 2 years after graduation, I had a stable job, a small apartment shared with a roommate, and was slowly building savings. I sent a Christmas card to my parents with a short note about my life. It was returned unopened. 3 more years passed. I moved into my own apartment, made friends, and built a quiet life. I occasionally sent cards or letters home. All were returned. Last month, I received a letter with my village's postmark. Inside was a short note in my mother's handwriting telling me my father was very ill and asking me to come. I took a week off work and drove back to the village for the first time in 8 years. My father lay in their bedroom, much thinner than I remembered. When he saw me, he reached for my hand. I was wrong, he whispered. You were right to go. He showed me a small box he kept hidden in his nightstand. Inside were all my photos of me from the university website, my graduation announcement, everything I had sent over the years, preserved and secretly treasured. He explained that my mother had wanted to contact me years ago, but he had been too proud and stubborn to allow it. My mother sat beside him, tears streaming down her face as she acknowledged how many years they had missed. We were wrong, she said simply, and too proud to admit it.